I've got to play you this as well from former Labor Minister Mike Kelly. He issued a warning to the Prime Minister just 24 hours ago while speaking with Chris Kenny. Have a look at this.
The government is putting at risk our national security here and our social cohesion. So I'd say to Albo, look, mate, reset your moral compass, stand up for something here. The community will reward you for that.
And Michael, this was only 24 hours ago, just before this attack occurred. Is he right? Does the Prime Minister need to reset his moral compass, or is it too far gone now? Well,
as the great columnist and editor Paul Kelly says, Albo's all tactics and no strategy. Make comments about anti-Semitism every time another terrible incident happens. Do something, Albo. Have a plan. Work to it. Get Australians behind it. Get your colleagues behind it. Force Tony Burke to go out to those preachers in Western Sydney who are preaching anti-Semitism in their mosque and stand on the steps there and say, so far and no further. This is not Australia. We want you to stop it. And you could force the security authorities in both state and federal, who've been weak since the gassed the Jews on the steps of Parliament House, that defamed all of Australia. It didn't just affect the Jews, Danica, you know that. People, this is the lead story about Australia all over the world in these kinds of incidents. And it really does make Australia look terrible. We're not a country like that. And the people who are upset about this are not just the small Australian Jewish community, but all tolerant Australians who love our multicultural Australia that is big and generous and tolerant. This is not good enough. We want the security authorities to draw a line in the sand and arrest and disrupt these activities. I mean, these two who did this, clad in balaclavas, going into a synagogue where there are people studying and spreading accelerant around and burning it, they have to be full-bore fanatics. What are they going to do next? Maybe they'll burn down Albo's office. Maybe they'll kill someone. Come on, Albo, you've got to get off your game. And as for Penny Wong, you've got to stop playing student politics with foreign affairs. You cannot say that, we're voting for these pro-Palestinian resolutions at the very time when the Israelis have done a ceasefire with Hezbollah, when there's a possibility that finally there may be a ceasefire in Gaza and some of the hostages released. How about Penny Wong? You stood up on behalf of those two children, those babies being held in those airless, depraved tunnels with those Hamas madmen, and demanded at the United Nations that they be got out. Australia would be paid attention to then, not just with this virtue signalling, politically correct, woke stuff that she goes on with, she and her government, on this and all other issues. Of course, your opinion polls are right, Danica. That shows you why this government is unpopular. It's not that Israel is a big issue for the average Australian, but they don't like all of these violent extremist types dominating our cities and threatening minorities and social cohesion in Australia. Enough.
Michael Danby, you've put it perfectly, and your anger is justified, and I'm sure felt by so many within the Jewish community this evening. And we also saw it at that press conference today when a man said to Jacinta Allen, he said, have you lost control? So, look, it has gone beyond the point now. Michael Danby, really good to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.